Hi everyone, happy Valentine's Day evening. I'm making this video because I wanted to do a Valentine's Day love discussion tonight. I didn't have a book to review because I couldn't find any books on, romantic love, that many in my collection. I also didn't have time to read, so I wanted to do a video anyway and share with you some methods that you can use to attract love into your life. Now, some of these methods are magical and others are just practical. So I'm going to share both of these methods with you tonight. I hope that you are having a fun evening, that you are celebrating it with somebody you love, even if that somebody is yourself, or if that somebody is your cat or a stuffed animal. As long as love is going around, that is all that matters. I have a host of things that I have written down for attracting love. Some of these things I have used myself, others I have not used as of yet, but I think that they might help you on your journey in order to find the person or people, if you're, I guess, like a polygamist or something, that you are looking for. So, if I look this way, it's because I'm reading off of my sheet. So before I get into the methods, the practical and the magical methods, I want to share with you 3 questions that you must ask yourself when you are on your journey looking for love. And the first question is it love that you actually want? I know that sounds kind of dumb and kind of repetitive, because I'm like, what do you mean is it love that I actually want? I clicked on this video because it's attracting love. What are you talking about? I know. I thought the same thing until one day I realized that it wasn't love that I actually wanted. Now, throughout the years, as I've practiced, in the occult and done different things, I've done my fair share of love spells. Every love spell you can possibly think of, I have already done, okay? To the length of desperation, all right? But there was a time period where after all of these years of doing love spells and getting this result and that result and attracting this person and that person, one day I was just tired. I had basically lost everything. Like, I had been through a lot of stuff, and I was about to do another love spell. And the thought came to my mind. I was like, Kiara, is it really love that you actually want? Like, you're literally doing your upteenth love spell. Is it really love that you want? Is it? It was a reality check for me. And when I sat down and I actually thought about it, the answer was no. It wasn't love that I actually wanted. I actually just wanted money. I actually just wanted money. Sometimes we will use love as a distraction, as a crutch, because we don't want to face what we actually want. We're so wrapped up and absorbed in love because it's such a good distraction. There's always love being bombarded in our faces at all times, or the concept of love at all times, that we don't have time to sit down and think about what it is that we truly need. I wanted money. I wanted money. I wanted money. I wanted money. I wanted money to do the things that I needed to do in order to move forward. I wanted money because I wanted to feel stable. I wanted money because I wanted to feel free. And some of these feelings that I had about money, you can also feel if you are in a romantic relationship sometimes. It can feel like this rush, this endorphins and all of that. So when I realized that I actually wanted money, I basically stopped putting my energy into love. The energy that I was putting into love, I transferred into money. And that is what I have been doing for the past 2 or 3 years. I've just been focusing on that and catching up on the lost time that I used distracting myself with love. Sometimes your thing may not be money. Sometimes it might be, I just want a peace of mind. I just want to go on an adventure. I just want my own business. I just want a cat. Like, it might be anything. So sit down and think about it. Is it love that you actually want? The next question is what you want what you actually want or need? And this is for if your answer was yes, for is it love that you actually want? Yes, is it love that you actually want? Okay, next question. Is what you want in regards to love what you actually want or need? And a lot of people, when it comes to love, become very confused sometimes because their view of love or their version of love is not actual love. It is basically the love that was taught to them, or the love that has been shown to them through media or social media, or just through their own personal rearing. They might think that love is, I'm just gonna be in the park spinning around with the sunset, wearing a cologne with my boo, and everything is perfect, and there's no issues, there's no health issues, there's no financial issues. Everything is just perfect. That's what we do when we're visualizing love. We just think everything is happy. And sometimes that's not the reality. I mean, true love can really withstand almost all types of difficulties. And sometimes even in true love, you have to take a break from each other and come back. So what you really want when you're visualizing, get to the core of what you're feeling. Is it the romantic love that they're showing on TV, or do you just want someone who will understand you when you're in a certain mood? Do you want someone who will just sit there next to you and you don't have to say anything? You're just that comfortable with one another. I have a Facebook friend that I went to college with, and she was going through all of these different relationships. She was like over here, over there, over here, over there, and suffering with depression and suffering with all of these anxiety issues. So she had a very difficult time finding someone to love, even though she had a lot of love to give. So right now, she's pregnant. She got married not too long ago. And the guy that she married is a man that really understands her. He truly understands what she's going through mentally. He knows how to cope with her various emotional, varieties, and accepts her as she is. Now, on paper, most people, because we live in this society of, vision, physical, everything, he is short. He's short. He's probably either my height or shorter. She's a little bit taller, and she's very plus size. So it's this short, skinny guy and a plus size girl. Most people, when they're visualizing the love they're showing on television, is all these people with certain body types and different things. That's really not true love sometimes. It's just, the model-esque look. You want somebody that truly knows you for who you are and accepts you in all of your mistakes and helps you to be better. You both work together to be better. So get to the core of what you actually want. Do you want somebody that understands you? Do you want somebody that goes on adventures with you? Do you want somebody who will love your children just as much as you love your children? And the last question is, are you the same person? And I know this is a crazy question. Some people might say, yes, I am the same person, and others will say, no, I'm not the same person. Sometimes we're measuring what we want with the yardstick of who we were before. Sometimes the qualifications that we have for people were qualifications that we had when we were a teenager, in our high school or college days. And we may be in our 40s and 50s and 60s, measuring the type of people we want to attract with that measuring stick. When I was a teenager, in high school and in college, I based who I wanted mostly off of physical. I'm like, okay, I'm physically attracted to him. That was my main focus. I'm like, okay, I'm physically attracted to him. That's what I want. And I would go after this guy, or the guy would come after me. But then, as I had more experience, my standards grew as I matured. As I grew in my maturity, there were more things that I wanted and more things that I did not tolerate. I didn't just want a guy with a handsome face. I wanted a guy who was intelligent, but I also didn't want a man who was intelligent and pompous. I wanted somebody who had a very kind heart. As I grew in my maturity, my level of attraction had to grow with my maturity as well. One of the questions that I asked myself as I got older that I did not ask myself when I was a teenager was, if I have children with this man and I die, would I feel comfortable that this man would rear my children properly, emotionally, physically, and mentally, and spiritually? If the answer was no, then I would not date this man. If I can't trust you to raise my future children properly, why would I even deal with you in the first place? And that helped me eliminate a lot of candidates. It helped me eliminate a lot of candidates. There's no such thing as too high standards when it comes to certain things. Now, maybe the person might not look like how you want them to look. Maybe they might have a kind of different background than you, or a different lifestyle than you, but the universe will send you who you really deserve. The universe will send you who it thinks that you need, who it thinks that you will grow with. Now, I'm going to get into the methods that I've used in the past. Some of them I've used, others I haven't, that you can use to attract a person into your life. So I'm going to start off with the physical methods that you can use. So the first method physically is to strengthen your kidneys. I like reading a lot about herbs, and especially traditional Chinese medicine. I've also talked to some people that have studied traditional Chinese medicine and different meridians of the body, and they have all said strengthening the kidneys helps manifest better relationships. When you strengthen the kidneys, you're essentially strengthening the sexual organs. When you're strengthening the kidneys, whether it be through herbal use or through acupuncture or Qigong, you are basically revitalizing your life force in your body. And when you have a revitalized life force, it's going to attract certain people towards you. Like, it's not going to attract the weaker kind, if that makes any sense. Just think of like in nature, like who do the animals go after? The most robust, the most health, the most vitalized animal when they're in their mating process. They don't want a weak animal. They want an animal with some vitality. So that is essentially what will happen when you strengthen your body, strengthen your kidneys. One way to strengthen your kidneys, an herb that I know you can take, there's uva ursi. You can also do squats as an exercise. You eat foods that help to strengthen the kidneys. You can also drink tea blends that are targeting the kidneys. If you don't want to focus on the kidneys in particular, and you want to focus on like the reproductive system, there are certain herbs that you can take that will help rejuvenate that. So I have some herbs from the top of my head. I'm going to divide them men and women, but I'm sure you can use them, unisex. But I'm going to divide them men and women. And some of them cross over with each other. So one unisex herb that you can use is Maca Root. Maca Root, you can take it in the capsules. I don't know how many places sell powder, or no, the actual root, but you can take it in a powder, you can take it in a tincture, I think you can drink it as a tea, or you can take it in the powder. Now, if you're using the powder, they suggest black maca for men and red maca for women, but it really doesn't matter. Like, either party can take that. Maca root strengthens and energizes your libido. Maca root gives you energy. Some people have reported that it helps with like enhancement of the bust or weight gain and all of that, and strength. So if that is one thing that you like, you can just add it to your coffee, you can add it to your water. It's a very, very popular herb. For men, you can use Tonkat Ali, which is also known as Ali stick. And it helps with it's like a hormonal enhancer. You can use Yohimbe, which is an African herb. Horny goatweed. There's also Shilajit, which helps with the bones. It also helps strengthen the testosterone in men. You can use Damiana, which is also available for women too. Damiana strengthens the sexual organs. Some people smoke Damiana, but I personally don't believe in smoking. I've never smoked in my life, not a cigarette or weed. I feel like the herb is more potent when it's in the tea form. I'll get back to the men. I can't remember. For women, you can use Damiana, red raspberry, that helps with like menstrual cycle, menstrual cramps, and it's also safe, they say, to take during pregnancy. You can use Donkai, fenugreek. Fenugreek enhances can increase the breast size, and it also helps with lactation. Fennel, chaparral. Chaparral chaparral helps with tumors in the uterus. Both parties can take vitamin E, because vitamin E strengthens increases the amount of sperm in your body, and it also increases fertility. So if you're trying to attract somebody, I would say research some fertility herbs, and I think that will help you. Qigong, using Qigong helps to increase your aura, and it also helps to strengthen the body as well. When you're increasing your qi, that will amplify your spell work. It will send out more energy that can be sent in all directions in order to draw the love that you want to you. Also, pheromones. You can manipulate your pheromones through either diet. You can use foods that are kind of like aphrodisiacs. There's certain smells that can come through your body. They say pineapple juice, the smell of it can go through your pores. Chlorophyll. Herbs high in chlorophyll would be spirulina. That's a blue algae. Chlorella is one of the highest in chlorophyll. Barley grass. Most green foods that have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, they say, deodorizes the body. It helps, especially with chlorella, helps detoxify your body of heavy metals. You can also use essential oils. There's certain essential oils I recommend for men and for women. I don't know them all from the top of my head, but you put them on certain points of your body, like sometimes behind the ears, sometimes right here, sometimes like on your wrists. I have a little blend, but I have vanilla. This one is vanilla, tangerine, jasmine, frankincense a little bit, geranium a little bit, and sandalwood. And I like wearing it, like I'll be like la 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 la. But I'm not going out to attract love, because I don't care. I'm trying to attract money. So, next that I have the physical down. Also, research those scents. Research them. Especially if it's something that like you can burn in your house and all of that. Like, have spray the fragrance on your clothes. Like, I have rose water and glycerin. I'll be like, la la la. I'll use it on my face too. I'll spray. So those are the physical methods, besides, exercise and different things. The magical methods, and then I will go into the practical methods. So magical methods, we have magical tools. And some of the magical tools that you can use are crystals, of course. I have a couple of crystals with me. So the first one is, of course, rose quartz. That is basically the most popular one ever. People just associate it with love. They're like, rose quartz, rose quartz, rose quartz. I think that rose quartz is best for self-love, but you can use it for romantic love. It's a gentle, soft. It's so sweet. It's just, everybody loves rose quartz. And you can place it on your heart chakra. You can place it on your sacral chakra. You can meditate with it and visualize. There's a bunch of spells that you can do with rose quartz. It is a very fun stone. The next one is rhodonite. Rhodonite is used to attract your soulmate. And I used this one time, and this was with an ex, okay? I'm going to tell you the story. One time, I had an ex from a long time ago, and we were on and off again. And I said, while we were dating, and we were having a rough patch, I was like, you know what? Forget this dude. I don't care. I'm going to get a new guy. I'm going to get a new soulmate. So I got the rhodonite, and I put it in my pocket. And I said, I'm going to carry this rhodonite, and today while I'm walking, I'm going to meet my new soulmate. So I walked from my apartment, and I'm walking up the hill, and I see somebody up the hill. I was like, ooh, that person looks cute. And then I get closer, and guess who it is? It's my ex. Walking back home. I was like, oh. So I said, okay, whatever. So a few days later, I'm like, you know what? Forget this dude. I'm going to attract a new dude. I'm going to attract my soulmate. And I know for a fact that that first thing was kind of off. That was kind of a coincidence. But I know this time I'm going to attract my soulmate. So I took my little rhodonite and I put it in my pocket. And I'm walking and I'm looking. I'm like, I'm not going to run into you today, sir. I said, there's no way I'm going to run into this dude today because I'm going to a different part of town. I get on the bus. I go down to Grand Station. I wait for the train. I'm standing at the train. Here comes a train. To go to North County. The doors open, and guess who walks out? Through the door that I'm standing at. It is him. It's my ex. So sometimes you can have a soulmate that is not supposed to be who you end up with because we have multiple soulmates, they say. But if you're very serious about attracting a soulmate, I would carry rhodonite. It may not be who you think it is. It may be somebody that you've already dealt with that you don't want to deal with anymore. And that would be a sign that you had to cut cords with them on a spiritual level. So if you want to see who you need to cut cords with, or if you want to take the chance of attracting a soulmate, then I would carry this crystal. Carnelian. Carnelian is a protective stone. I associate it with the sacral chakra. Sometimes it can amplify, heat, like anger. It all depends on your intention. But it's also like a sexual stone. It has sexual energy with it. So if you want that fire, then I would carry carnelian. I would put it on your sacral chakra and meditate with it. I would even get a carnelian ring and enchant it to draw you your love, like a passionate love if you want it, but also protect you. And also doing sacral chakra work, that will help protect, but root chakra too. You get the root chakra. Some people want to be like all the way up in their crown and they won't do the basic level stuff. So root chakra work. Next one, Morganite. Morganite is a soulmate stone. Like if you want to attract a partner. A lot of people don't talk about this because they're so fixated on rose quartz. But yeah. Opalite. Opalite is a man-made stone, but just because it's a man-made crystal does not mean that it is any less powerful. When I used to wear my opalite necklace, I would literally have people come up straight to the necklace and just stare at it. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, back off. Opalite brings angelic energy. It also draws people to you. So if you are the type that likes drawing different types of people to you, but also being protected simultaneously, I think this would be a good crystal for you. And the last crystal is Moonstone. Moonstone, of course, is associated with the moon, the feminine energy, but you can also use it for couples too. I associate Moonstone with partnership, like romance, relationship. I would carry this around if a relationship is what you want. But there's a host of other crystals if you want. Some of them pinks, maybe greens for nature, reds, red jasper if you put it in, like, especially for women, if they put it in their bra or something, it can enhance their beauty. That is, I associate that stone with the root chakra. The next thing you can have, the next tool you can use is the tarot. And of course, a lot of people. The tarot. I keep mine in my little deck. And this is the Rider-Waite Tarot. A lot of people have gotten into, a lot of trouble using the tarot. They've gotten very obsessive with the tarot when it comes to doing it for love. And we'll get into that after I show you this book. So there's this book that you can use, and some other books called Tarot Spells. You can use the tarot to attract love. In this book, Tarot Spells, there's like 2 or 3 magical tarot layouts that you can use. It's by Janina Renee, that you can use to attract love into your life. You can also use the tarot to describe the type of person that might be coming into your life. See what's happening with your relationship. I used to do a lot of tarot readings. I used to do a lot of tarot readings. And it was getting to the point where, I was just being a crazy ass bitch with it. I really was. I was spying on people with the tarot. I was calculating dates and times with the tarot. When I was separated from one of my exes, I would spy on him through the tarot. I would know when he was in a relationship. I would know when he was coming back, who was in his life, who was coming now. And one day he was like, how do you know all of these things? Who are you sending to spy on me? And it was the tarot. I wasn't sending anybody. This tarot was spying on you. But as I said, you have to be very careful when it comes with the tarot, because you can become very obsessive. Some people have. They'll be going to different readers being like, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is she coming back? Do they still love me? And all of that. So I would just say, when you are using this magical tool as a method, try to think in a way that's less obsessive. Try to ask questions that would benefit you in the long run. That is for your best interest. Not asking questions about a relationship where it's on again, off again, on again, off again, just this whole cesspool of toxicity. You want to ask, possibly, what type of person do I need at this point? Because sometimes you can have a person that is for a certain period of time, but not for a longer period of time. I've had this with the tarot when I had somebody I was in a relationship with. I used another reader and they showed up in a reading, and a year later they came, but that person was not long term. They were actually very short term. But because of their presence, I developed in a faster spiritual rate. As far as my concept of what love is and what I actually wanted in a relationship, if that person had not come, I would still be stuck in this immature mindset of what I thought that I wanted when it came to love. Some tarot cards that you can use to attract love if you're doing a spread would be the ace. No, not the ace. Yeah. Actually, it would be like the Lovers, the Two of Cups, I want to say the Six of Cups, and the Four of Wands, and my favorite one, the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Wands is like speed, it's quick. So those are some of my suggestions that you can use for a spread. Also, if you're going to do timing, look up different timings, because you can time when somebody is coming based off of like which house was it, house? I can't remember. Whatever. You can use the major arcana. You can use the different houses. I'm just going to call it houses because my brain is having a blank right now, to determine which seasons people are coming, what you need to do right now as far as self-love. Next, talismans. You can make your own talismans if you want, or you can get some talismans to carry with you. Some people will make little bags. I think they're called gris. I'm really not sure because I'm not in that pantheon or belief system, so I don't know the appropriate terminology. So you carry a bag, you fill it with different objects related to what you're trying to attract. Sometimes you can fill it with herbs, sometimes you can fill it with oils and scents and flowers and symbols and all of these different things, and you carry it on your body, and you use certain types of bags for certain types of spells. So you can make one of these little magical bags you carry on your person. You can also get some little metal talismans. I have a metal talisman. It's one of the seals from Solomon. This one's to attract love. It's one of the planetary seals. And this is the Archangel Raphael. And I'll discuss him in a little bit. I had a talisman that I used, and it wasn't this one. It was something else. And when you looked at it, you could draw to you whoever you wanted. You could draw to you whatever romantic interests that you wanted. So I had to buy this talisman twice because the first time I abused it and it disappeared. I don't know where it went. I carried this talisman. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I want so-and-so. I want so-and-so to come to me. And did you know it wasn't even a week? It probably wasn't even a day. This person contacted me. I was like, okay. I said, that's kind of interesting. So I did a completely different person. I was like, let me challenge you a little bit. Let me get somebody that I haven't heard from in a long time. And sure enough, here comes that person. So then the third time I said, okay, let me see if I can attract so-and-so. Because back then I was just, actually it wasn't way back when, maybe several years ago. I was just very flirtatious. I'm not flirtatious anymore, but I was. So I got this third person, a completely different person. And these were all in less than a week. So by the third person, I was getting very power hungry. I was like, I can attract anybody that I want. And that's when the talisman disappeared because it knew I was doing too much. So when you're using these talismans and these symbols, make sure that you are doing it with a heart that has some type of rationality in it and isn't trying to abuse the powers that be. Because if you keep continuously abusing the powers that be, they don't want to work with you. They're not going to want to work with you. They're going to be like, you're asking, you're kind of pushing it, okay? Like you're getting kind of obsessive. You're getting kind of possessive. So when you carry these talismans, you can anoint them with some oils if you want. You can sage them, you can chant over them and carry them on your person. Wear them as a necklace. You can wear them on your belt, or you can carry them in a bag. You can also use like sigils. Use a sigil as a talisman. You can write it on paper and put it in your wallet or put it in your shoe. You can use a root as a talisman. One root that you can use to attract, there's Adam and Eve root. There is Jezebel root. Jezebel root's like if you want to attract, like you want that lust on you. The next thing you can do is astrology. I don't know much about astrology, but I think astrology would give you some type of idea about the type of person that you would want or need. I personally feel sometimes people get too crazy with astrology and they limit themselves from the type of person that they could possibly have because they're just extremely fixated on their astrology. But I would just use it as a guide to show you like what you're working with, the energies that you're working with, what transitions can be coming into your life, and work on yourself instead of just being like, no, I have to be with this zodiac sign and that is all I can only be with. No, don't do that, because you can be closing off a person that might actually be good for you. The next thing is jars. Jar magic. Jar magic is basically where you put different things that attract whatever you want and put it in a jar. Also, you can make jars that repel things, like you can make jars to attack, like cemetery jars. But if you're going to do a love jar, you can do stuff with honey. You can do it with sugar. I'm sure there's other types of jars. You don't even have to use honey or sugar. You can just make a jar where it doesn't have any like honey or anything in it. But me primarily, I used honey jars. And I would always get almost what I wanted, but not quite sometimes. And I see why it didn't work that way, like why it was never not quite, because each relationship, each guy that I was dealing with was helping me with my development in order to attract better and better and better every single time. So when I would make a honey jar, I would get a jar, sage the jar, chant over the jar, write my petition, put it in the jar, write the petition on a piece of paper. I want this, or I have this type of dude, and blah, 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 and this is his description, and blah, 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 blah. Just write whoever you want, or not a particular person. You can write a particular person, but I would recommend against that personally if you want to draw actual love to you faster. Because most of the time, sometimes it will be a particular person that you can get, but once you get them, sometimes you'll realize that's actually not who you want. Florence Scovel Shinn mentions that in her book, The Writings of Florence Scovel Shinn, the first book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. She has a couple of clients who wanted a particular person, and then they ended up with an even better version better person that they like better. But you write your petition, you put it in the jar, you put things related to what you're trying to attract. So if you're trying to attract, let's say, a marriage, you could put rings in it. You can put clippings of people getting married. You could write your vows and put it in there. Herbs related to love, catnip and roses and jasmine and all of these different things. Rosemary for remembrance and fidelity. And glitter. Sometimes I put glitter in mine. You can put magical oils or essential oils to have this sweet fragrance. And you pour the honey over all of that. Put it in a jar, seal the top. Some people keep it in a dark closet. Some people keep it on their altar. I personally throw it in the lake. I can't tell you how many honey jars I've thrown in the lake. Like billions. Billions of honey jars. Billions. And yes, they have worked every time. But with every honey jar came a lesson. I did do jars on particular dudes. I'm like, I want that particular dude. I want him to come by this time. Such and such a thing. And it didn't matter what forces were against me. I would always get the person. But then once I got them, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad this spell failed. I mean, it brought you to me, but I don't want you anymore. The next thing you can do is chanting. Chanting. You can chant affirmations. You can chant mantras. Some people will chant Sanskrit mantras. Some will chant like Hebrew mantras. Others will chant from another pantheon or Celtic mantras. Florence Scovel-Shinn has some affirmations that you can say for love and marriage. Affirmation for marriage. I give thanks that the marriage made in heaven is now made manifest upon earth. The twain shall be made one, now and for all eternity. Then love, there's divine love through me, now dissolves all seeming obstacles and makes clear, easy, and successful my way. And I love everyone and everyone loves me. My apparent enemy becomes my friend, a golden link in the chain of my good. So that's one thing. You can also chant, oh my God. There's one for a woman attracting a man. I don't know a man attracting a woman, but for a woman attracting a man or to attract a man, or a man with masculine qualities. In Sanskrit, Sat Patim Dehi Parameshwara. I cannot remember what it means from the top of my head, but it was like, please send me a spiritual man of truth, or something of that nature. And then there's one that men can say to attract a woman, but I don't know it from the top of my head. Another Sanskrit mantra you can chant is the mantra Kleem, and Kleem attracts whatever it is that you love, but it also helps heal relationships. So sometimes, and especially me in the past, when I would chant the mantra Kleem, all of these dudes that I either fell out with or dated or whatever, or that I actually did not want to see at all, would come to me. And it wasn't like, oh, this one came and then a month later, here comes this one. No, it was literally the moment I started seriously chanting Kleem, I would get texts, I would get calls, I would run into them on the street. They would be like, hey, Kiara, the Facebook, hey, Kiara, how are you? First of all, who? What? I haven't heard from you in 2 years. What? Why are you all of a sudden? And it would be day after day. Like, it'd be this one, then that one, then that one, then that one. It was just like a whole row. And there would be times where I would just stop chanting Kleem because I couldn't take it anymore. It was just too many of them. But most of them were dudes I really didn't want to see. Or it'd be guys just coming up to me like, they just started coming up. Hello, how are you? Where are you going? What is your name? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop. But it can also help heal relationships. It can attract the person that you want to come into your life. You keep chanting it enough, you focus on that person, they will come to you, most likely. Or whatever is going on with you guys will be healed. Now, the healing may be you getting back together with them, or the healing may be you move on from them, or they move on from you. Because sometimes a separation is a healing. Another mantra, I can't remember. You can chant mantras to Oshun. There was one I had heard for her, but I don't know it from the top of my head because I haven't studied that pantheon enough. I haven't studied like Ifa and all of that enough. Okay. Next, deities. So if you feel that you can't do it on your own strength, like all of this love work on your own strength, then you can outsource it to a deity, usually, or another energy or another energetic form. So when you're working with a deity, sometimes the more you associate with the deity, the more you take on their qualities. Now, some people believe the deities are outside of us. Others believe that the deities are aspects of us. So when you are working with these energies, you start taking on the qualities of that energy. Some deities that you can work with, I mentioned earlier the Archangel Raphael. The Archangel Raphael. Saint Archangel Raphael, he is the Archangel of healing. His name means God heals. So some people call on him for healing. He also helps protect travelers, but he can also bring you your love. His color is green, like an emerald green. And there is this prayer that I memorized a long time ago, and it was to bring your soulmate to you through Saint Archangel Raphael. And it says, Saint Archangel Raphael, angel of happy meetings, draw me to the one that I am looking for, just as you were sent by God to guide young Tobias towards Sarah. Do this also for me. May my every movements and all their movements be guided by thy light and transfigured by thy ways. And Tobias and Sarah are characters from the book of Tobit, which is the Apocrypha, and Saint Archangel Raphael got them together because in the book of Tobit, Sarah's husbands were killed by this one demon, so she wasn't able to lose her virginity or consummate her marriages because this demon killed like 7 of her husbands every time she got married. And then Saint Archangel Raphael helped Tobias travel, safety during his travels, and he also healed Tobias's father of blindness. So he brought Sarah and Tobias together. He is the angel of happy meetings, so you can use him. You can also use the Goddess of Shoon. I know she's very popular. I've worked with her maybe one time to bring back somebody, and it did work. I left her some oranges, and I left her 5 pennies, and she brought them back for that time in particular. But she's over beauty. She is for money. She's very popular, like her color's gold. I think she's honey, cinnamon are associated with her, if I can think from the top of my head. So I know that if you work with her, she can help you get towards your love. The goddess Lakshmi. Lakshmi is for beauty. Lakshmi is for abundance. If you want an abundance of love, you can chant her mantra. Her mantra, she has many mantras, but my favorite one is Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Swaha. Can also work with the goddess Parvati, and this is a book, Shakti Mantras, tapping into the great goddess energy within. I think goddess Parvati has something, she has something to do with love. I would say the goddess Kali, but you have to really want to cut through with your ego and all of that to work with Kali, because she's a very serious, potent energy. The next mantra, you can work with, the next deity, you can work with the saints. There's certain saints that are associated with marriages, love. I don't know them from the top of my head, but they are related to love, selfless love, and all of that. I would even say the Holy Spirit, Ruach. There's another name, but Ruach. You can also work with nature, like the elements of nature. with the energies, the spirits of nature, fairies, trees, all of these different, the winds, the air, the elements, water, fire, earth, all of these different things, in order to ground yourself and draw to you a love that you can call your own. You can also call on your ancestors. I would suggest calling on ancestors that actually liked you, because some people are like, oh, you can work with all your ancestors. Well, there's some ancestors that didn't like you while you were alive. Or there were some ancestors that you might have that were malevolent and you just don't know they were malevolent. So I would work with an ancestor that actually always had your best interests at heart, even if it's a spiritual ancestor that you greatly admire, somebody who has had a kind and loving heart that you feel comfortable with bringing a love to you. You can do that. Dream work. You can also do meditations. There's so many meditations on YouTube. So many of them that you can use to manifest love. You can do candle work. I've done my fair share of candles. Like, I don't think I can ever buy a candle again. If you're going to do that, you can use green for the heart chakra, or the color Venus. You can use pink and red. Red more so for like less passionate, fiery love. Pink for like that gentle, sweet love or self-love. Also, overall, working on yourself. Working on loving yourself. I'm saying that last because I didn't want to be redundant at the beginning of the video and tell you about like, you gotta love yourself. But true, you really have to love yourself. Because sometimes when you just stop caring about this nonsense, oh, it's not nonsense. Sometimes when you just stop putting all of that energy into other people and putting it into yourself, your love journey will become easier. Because there are all sorts of predators coming towards people that have low self-esteem. They can see them from a mile away. They can see how it is that they dress. They can see how it is that they walk. And when you have self-confidence and self-love, you might start noticing nobody's coming up to you for a while. That's because the universe is protecting you from these types of people that would be preying on the old version of you. Last, which is mostly practical, the physical, your physical actions and your physical appearance. Looking your best sometimes will, or actually most of the time, looking your best will help attract people to you. Going out looking your best, not looking like you just don't care about yourself, but there have been some people that have attracted the love of their life, just like, oh, I just threw this on and ran out of the house, and here comes the love of their life, and they're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like, but if you're actively trying to find somebody, I would dress up a little bit more. If you know you can wear makeup, you can wear makeup. I don't wear makeup because I don't know how. I don't trust anything on my face. So, yeah, no. But makeup is an art form. It's a magical form. You can put on makeup. You can make sure your clothes are neat. Decide what clothes to wear to attract what type of person that you want. Me, the clothes I wear, I know what type of person it may attract. If I really want to attract somebody, I know exactly what to wear. Like a Beyonce Freakum dress, musical song. But I'm not trying to attract those types of dudes. Also, keeping your health in check. Sometimes people that are scouting out to prey on you, they'll look at like your body. They'll be like, okay, this person does not take care of themselves, or they're doing this, they're doing that. Okay, they're easy target. I'm going to get them. Me, I always have to be aware of who's around me because I'm small. So they'll be like, oh, she's small. I'm going to take advantage of her and blah, blah, blah. So I always have to like strengthen myself, know how to be assertive, when it comes to the opposite sex. You can also attract love by actually like searching for it, creating a dating profile. I would be very careful with those, but creating a dating profile can draw people to you. Some people find it like, oh, it's so embarrassing. I'm so humiliated that I put all my stuff out. But you know what? My friend met her husband on eHarmony. I've had a couple of friends meet their spouse through dating websites. So don't knock it. You can also meet them on social media too. Now, when you're doing the dating, just be, cautious. Don't put too much information out there. Don't put what type of job you have. If you have any pictures of children, don't put any children on there. Just the basics of safety. But create a dating profile if you don't have one. And just check it out. Also, going out to different events. Some people are very introverted. They don't want to go out. Going out to events that are, surrounding your interests. You could go to a lecture. Sometimes furthering your education or career can draw that person to you. You might have an urge to go to school and you don't know why. Maybe your true love is there. The universe will send you somebody, the best person that you can grow with. And sometimes you have to grow in order to meet that person. You might be over here and they might be way over there. You want to draw them to you. Sometimes you have to enhance yourself, do a level up type of thing. There's so many level up videos on YouTube for days. Just watch them and level up. And you will see how you date may start to change. The type of person you attract may start to change as well. Don't close yourself off to love. Be open. Be open to what the universe sends, especially if it's somebody that you feel will be a good fit for you, that isn't toxic. Me, what I told the universe I wanted, they sent. I was like, universe, I just want a guy that is black or maybe mixed with black, but I primarily want him to be black. I want him to be tall. Want him to be kind and intelligent. Somebody that I can sit down and talk to and read books with and won't be like, oh, Kiara, you read too many books, oh my God, and stuff like that. I want a guy that doesn't have any children because I don't want to be a stepmother. I don't want him to be in and out of jail. I want him to be somebody I can bring to my family and not be humiliated. Somebody that I actually like looking at. I'm like, oh wow, he's handsome. I'm attracted to him. And stuff like that. Someone that has goals. Somebody that's trying to elevate themselves. And for years, people told me, oh, Kiara, you're asking for too much. Oh, Kiara, you might just need an older man. You might just need to date somebody that's 40 years older or 10 years older than you, Kiara, you might just have to date a white dude. You might just have to date a white dude. I'm just like, girl, you know what you deserve. You know what you want. I'm like, if I wanted to date a white dude, I could have dated one by now because I went to school with all white dudes, but I'm not attracted to them. They're nice. They're handsome. I just am not attracted to them. That's not what I wanted. I felt that it was not too difficult for me to get what I wanted on the list. And I was basing it off of the girls I went to school with. Most of the girls I went to school with were white girls. Most of them got married to guys that had the exact qualifications that I had on my piece of paper. But nobody told them they were asking for too much. Nobody said that to them. Nobody said, oh, you had to date somebody 10 years older. Most of them married a guy that was either their age, a year younger, or a year older. But it was never 10, 20 years older than them. It was never a guy that had this whole criminal record. So once you find out what you want, Once you find out the healthy qualities that you desire in a partner, stick to that list or be open for a better list. And don't listen to all of these naysayers saying you can't have this, you can't have that. Sometimes people just want to keep you in a toxic relationship, and that's just not cool, okay? But yeah, so right now, this is the closest I've attracted to my list. Like, the person I'm talking to now literally matches everything I put on my list. Everything, like basically everything. Smart. No kids. The height I wanted. He's black. Very intelligent, he writes. I can have a conversation with him. We can discuss all sorts of different things. Like, it's just perfect. Very understanding and very polite. Actually, he's kinder than I am. Like, because sometimes I feel like I'm Cruella de Vil. But, like, he'll go out. He'll feed the homeless. He'll take care of the sick. Very compassionate person. Very mature. Like, even my little questionnaire I said earlier, if I had children with this dude and I died, would I feel comfortable raising my children? Yeah, okay. I think I'd feel comfortable. I think he would raise them correctly. So sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes you gotta like go through like 7 frogs and an elephant to get to what you want. But eventually you will get what you deserve, or better than you think. So that is what I wanted to share with you all. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Bye-bye.